Hi everyone, in this video I want to do a review of the Peak Designs Tech Pouch. So in a previous video I did a review of the 30 litre Peak Design Everyday Backpack. And as part of that review I sort of pointed out that I use the Peak Design Tech Pouch to store a lot of my sort of cables and sort of gadgets and gizmos for everyday carry and also for international travel. So I thought I'd sort of dive into a little bit more detail about the Tech Pouch itself. So you can see the actual bag here. So it's reasonably, it's fairly big, but not too big. It's made of this kind of canvasy material, so it is sort of reasonably water resistant. But out of all of the pouches I've used for travel, just to store all my tech gear, it's probably the best one I've used because it actually fits everything in. So on the bottom you have two of these sort of grab handles. So if this is in the bottom of your bag and you just need to grab it and sort of pull it out, you can quite easily do that. At the top there's also a couple of loops here. Now if you get any of the little clips that they use or that Peak Design sells, you can actually attach them onto this and then put a strap on it, so you could actually wear it as kind of like some kind of bag as well. I don't do that, I keep it in my laptop bag, but you kind of have that option if you need it. Okay, now at the back here we do have a little zip which you can put things in, so if you are carrying this around by hand you can put things like passports in there. What's also interesting is there is a pass-through hole here, so that if you have a battery in the main compartment you can actually run a cable through here and charge a phone in there. In all honesty, I have tried doing that, but I find it puts a bit too much stress on the cable by bending the cable, and you know, my phone's fairly big, it's an iPhone XS, it's not the Max version, but it's still a bit tight to fit in there with the cable on, so I don't really do that. Really, I think that's kind of a bit of a design flaw of the bag, but I just kind of ignore it. Okay, so if we now open up the main bag, which we can do here, so it kind of opens out in this kind of origami style, which is pretty cool. So I thought what I'll do is I'll just go through what I've stored in here and then kind of do it as an unpacking video really, and then you can kind of, that should hopefully give you some ideas of what you can fit in. So first of all I have a presentation clicker, so I do a lot of public speaking around the world, so I always need that with me. I also have the charger for my MacBook Pro. I live in the UK, so I have the UK charger on there. I also have the cable for the laptop. Now because I do a lot of travel, predominantly around the US and Europe, I also have a series of travel adapters. So this one is the US adapter for my MacBook Pro charger, and then this one is a European charger. I also have an emergency kind of USB-C travel adapter as well. Don't really use it often, to be honest, but it's kind of handy for the iPad. I think it's only 5 watts, it's not actually that powerful. So now we've opened this compartment, you can see that we have lots of other little pockets that you can store things in. I'm not actually currently using them, but you know, if you've got like memory cards or small cables or devices that you want to put in there, then you can quite easily do that. So in this next section here, I have an emergency battery. I have actually labelled my battery, mostly because my kids keep on stealing my batteries, so I've labelled everyone's batteries at home. It's annoying that I have to do that, but you know what kids are like. So you've got these little pockets here which you can store things in. Also a silicone gel thing in there, which I've got to take out. In the next compartment here I sort of keep laptop dongles, so I use a modern MacBook Pro, so I do live the dongle life. So I've got a VGA adapter, because where I've done presentations at universities before, sometimes they have really old equipment, so sometimes you just need VGA. And I also have the standard HDMI adapter as well, which I need for pretty much all of the conferences that I go to. What I also keep in here is I've got this gadget here. So this is a multi-tool, so it's like screwdrivers, pliers, lots of just different tools. The reason I got this one is I do have a normal multi-tool like a Leatherman, but it's got a lockable knife on it, so obviously I can't carry it around, certainly in the UK, because we have laws against lockable knives. But it's handy to have a series of tools when I'm away, so if I need a screwdriver for anything, or pliers or anything like that. So this is quite good because it doesn't have a blade on it, so you can quite happily take it through airport security. So that's quite handy. So again, in here we've got another zipped compartment that you can use to store stuff if you want. I've still got the Peak Design sticker in there. Lots of space for memory cards. If you're a photographer who travels a lot, you can put a lot of your memory cards in there, or anything that you want to keep safe. And again, we've got some other little sort of elasticated pouches that you can store things in. I haven't actually got anything in there, but you know, you can do if you want. And then here I just have lots of cables, so lots and lots of lightning cables. I've got micro USB cables, kind of everything I need while I'm traveling. So I've got spare audio cable, another micro USB cable. So this is just generally where I store all of the cables that I need when I'm traveling. And again, there's some other sort of little pockets at the back just for storing little fiddly knickknacks. So all in all, there's quite a lot of space. So I've used quite a lot of different travel pouches before. So I was using one by STM before, and it kind of got a bit packed and a bit too full, and I couldn't quite fit everything in that I use when I travel. So everything I've just unpacked from this case, I do use when I'm abroad at conferences. So this is just kind of a nice little pouch that you can use just to make sure you've got everything with you. And if you have the 30 litre or the 20 litre Peak Design everyday carry bag or backpack, then this kind of fits quite snugly at the bottom of the bag, so you've always got it with you. I'm not sure if this is an intended consequence of these grab handles or not, but if you put your fingers either side, then you can use it to kind of open up the bag. I'm not sure if that's intentional or not, but you know, it's just kind of handy. Price wise, I think this cost me about between £50 and £60, I can't remember exactly, so it is a bit expensive for what it is, but I keep everything in here all the time. So when I'm traveling, as long as I know I've got this in the bottom of my laptop bag, I know that I've got literally everything I need to get me through a conference or a workshop trip. So it is quite handy. So I'm glad I bought it. As I say, it's a bit expensive for what it is, but you know, it does the job, and it does the job well. The only real downside to it is I think that this idea of putting your phone in here with a pass-through cable just doesn't really work at all. I think that's a bit of a design flaw, so I just kind of ignore that it exists, and then that's fine. So yeah, that is the Peak Design Tech Pouch. And I'll see you again soon on another video.